Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Tuesday to your family. And of course, we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin. Kind of a quicker understanding of what's going on because honestly, sideways action, doji candles, not a whole heck of a lot. Key takeaway here is we're above the 20-day simple moving average, and that's the most important thing here. So again, that is what's looking good here so far for the coin. We'll see what else is going on. So big picture, we're going to take a quick look here at Highball Capital. Let's just go ahead and jump right into that. For starters, kind of see what's going on. We can kind of see here at this level that there's some areas in which stop losses are being set. Okay, so again, the majority of stop losses are somewhere in the range of about 28,500. But more importantly, we got some more recent stop losses at about 29,100. Okay, so again, 29.1 is effectively that area in which the price action a lot of longs are hedged right at that level. Okay, so again, we lose 29,000, then we're going to probably see somewhat of a squeeze to the downside. But generally speaking, that gives us that little range there that we know kind of roughly where people's mindsets are at. Again, liquidation levels are just basically a series of closed positions. They could be open positions or they could also be forced positions. Okay, so this is just most likely in a lot of cases, this is right where people have their stop losses in place and then they cancel the stop loss. Same thing here as well for the short side. We got 30,300 is the main level there. So we need to get up to that level in order to have that short squeeze to push the price action higher. Again, just something to kind of think about there. When it take a look at the whale data, we can see whales are just still more present. Big surprise, right? Price comes down. Anytime the price comes down, whales are super active. It's just kind of the way that it goes. But we can see here that longs are consistently being closed. Of course, yesterday we had that push up and the push down. So for lack of better terms here, a lot of longs are basically getting liquidated and or closing their positions. And we see the inverse here as well, where people are a little bit more short-term heavy. So short heavy on the most immediate time frame there. We can also see, of course, fear and greed index is kind of maintaining right itself around that 50 level. Nothing's very standard there. Nothing out of the ordinary. Taking a look here, of course, at the liquidation correction. These are actually net long open interest positions. So our longs are hedged right there at about 29,350. So we got our early longs from last night that were in profit. Now they're kind of break even. We could probably say the same thing for shorts too, whereas we have some late shorts and early shorts both underwater. So interestingly enough, both longs and shorts, the large amount of accumulation is right above or below the current price. In other words, shorts are in the red and longs are in the red too. It's an interesting little situation there. It kind of just tells us that we're likely going to stay range bound for a moment longer. We could see some moves later today, but generally speaking, that's where we're at there. Again, kind of touching on this here as well, we got a 200-day set moving average correction. That is the 20-day SMA. 200 is down below here at about 27,300. We don't need to worry about that for a while, but again, another support level in the 27 to 20,000 range. We can also see, of course, the 20, that's what I was trying to emphasize earlier. That's hanging out right here at that lowest point there, 29,300. So that's kind of the only support we have there. Honestly, not much of a support at all, because we are right at the edge of this little cliff here. Once again, as per usual, last 20 days, our average price is about 29,300. Okay, so nothing crazy awesome there. Same thing here as well for RSI, kind of just letting us know we're slightly below a key level resistance. And of course, our MACD is not diverging or converging much at all. Okay, so again, the daily is kind of drawn dead, laying flat there, and it's just kind of standard for the course right now. We've seen this happen multiple times. Price goes sideways for 7 days, we have a pump and dump. Sideways for 7 days, pump, slow bleed. Okay. Key takeaway here is that we are slightly higher here for our average price than roughly a week ago, which is somewhat positive. And we take a look at, just say for example, our weekly low is about 28,600, and our weekly high is 30,200. That's roughly the range we're looking at. And we take a look at the 4 hour, a little easier to kind of see this here, whereas we have that support level for the 1 week close right there at 29,300. So that is helping us out a little bit there. So again, a closure above 29.3, and we should continue to be okay, but we really just need to see something more than just this flat sideways action. You take a look at volume, we see it coming in spurts, but not all that much. So again, decreased volume leads us to a nice red market. So for the most part, there's a few select coins that are doing well today. HBAR, there's a fundamental catalyst for that with the U.S. banks, I believe, are using their service now, so that did push the price action up. But for lack of better terms, we're not really seeing a whole heck of a lot here today. Ultimately, one of those waiting for confirmation, because if we do break down, we're going to see a lot more red in the market. Alts look like they are ready to drop. So just be careful taking some altcoin trades right now. If you do, again, treat it like a a larger swing trade where you have multiple entries, and essentially, like for example, with our Discord, like we took 137% profit on our bake profit. Okay, so again, profits can be made on specific coins, but again, we waited 8 days to get that kind of profit, and the entry targets were spread out. Okay, so again, there's some important things to understand, that putting all of your eggs in one basket right away at 20x leverage or 50x, some people are doing 100x, it's not really the best strategy. Those folks are getting washed out a lot, and they're only sharing their good trades. They're not sharing the trades that get liquidated, which happens a lot. What I'm getting at is low position size, low leverage, and you can survive these kind of ebbs and flows. Ours are 5x leverage on that bake at 137%. Honestly, if that was 20x, we'd have a lot more profit, but we would have had a lot more risk going into it. We might not be there because it may have swung out of that range and got us liquidated. So again, just try to be careful. Try not to keep up with the Joneses, because the Joneses are going broke too. You just don't see it. They're sharing all their good trades. Please recognize that as a very common characteristic, especially on Twitter. That being said, regardless, I hope everyone does well, continues to, don't get wrong. Just stating the obvious here in the sense that you want to be careful in those who you follow, because a lot of times there's a lot of false information out there. That said, looking at the 4-hour time frame here, we can see MACD is diverging, so that's typically bearish. We're under RSI 50 as well, also bearish. We had that little peak up there for a day, or just one 4-hour candle, and look at that bearish engulfing candle, price is going down. So in truth, right now, the way that things are set up, it does look like the price wants to continue lower. But once again, you got to recognize too, there's a lot of liquidity sweeps out there, and oftentimes you will see the price action when it comes down to these levels. It'll fill that little gap, and it'll yank right back the other direction. We could even see a wick all the way down here to 28.7 to fill that, and then the price takes off from there. Okay. Again, one of two things will happen. We'll either retest 30,000 immediately. I'm still, or at least I was yesterday, feeling like we're going to see that first. Right now, at this given time, it does feel like it wants to come down lower. That's how they manipulate the market a lot of times, right? They get you to buy in, get a lot of shorts to get heavy, and then they just wreck the shorts. Inverse happens as well. Somebody's making a ton of money with these swings here. It is very nonsensical. It's not something that's typical in trading, at least coming from a traditional market. But again, this is not regulated, so you got to recognize that. So the important thing here is to just wait for confirmation. Ultimately, I think if we do see any of these lower liquidity swings down to low 29,000 range or 28.7, those would be good places to take longs. And the inverse as well, if the price comes back up to retest 30, 31,000. Okay, it's just kind of this little game that they're playing within these ranges, and those ranges are within the 1 week and the 1 month closers. Okay, so again, for now, that's just kind of where we're at. That said, though, 4-hour looks terrible. Simply put, summarization is 4-hour looks terrible. All right, and we got nothing but sideways action here, so Ichimoku Cloud is rendered useless, and then, of course, TD sequential, whole lot of nothing, no consistencies here. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and turns this around. Oh, there's a 6. There's no consistency. In other words, there's no runs. There's no, overextension that we can kind of rely on. So in truth, these lower time frames, there's not a tremendous amount of data kind of letting us know that we have a definitive direction one way or the other, which is why you kind of have to rely on the macro. And right now, the macro is becoming slightly more bearish than it was bullish 24 to 48 hours ago. Yeah, so again, I know this sounds crazy because one day you can feel like it's going to go up, the next day it's going to go down. That's just the way the trading goes. You got to always adjust and acclimate. But at this point, we got to acclimate to the fact that the price seems more likely to come down before it comes up. If it comes up, we're going to need to have some consistency, and we need to break at least, because we can see this immediate resistance level, 29,672, just say 29.7, is a key level resistance for the moment. Okay, that's an area in which we need to close above. We can do that. There's a good chance we could get that bounce because the volume profile is below the price action. But for right now, we can see the volume right now, just heavy acquired right at 29.4. So once more, a closure below 29.4 would be disadvantageous. We'd probably see that low liquidity sweep at 28.7 and then a potential bounce from there. I'm still subscribing to the idea or concept that we're not going to see a price point much lower than 28.5, 28,000. I hope I'm right in that regard. But again, a small part of me wants to be wrong too, because I have some limit orders at 28.5, 28 even, and 27.5. Again, stranger things can happen. So we'll just hope for the best and expect the worst. And what is it? Shoot for the moon, land on the stars? Is that how it works? Something like that. That's what we're looking for here. So again, be cautious and careful. That's all I ask. Right now, I know it's easy to want to be like kind of, all for trading, but try not to force a trade unless you're shorting the market right now. There's not a lot of long positions really all that available. There's a few outliers. I think Rune, HBAR, a couple of other ones, XRD if I'm not mistaken. I've got my eye on a few, but generally speaking, not a tremendous amount of opportunity. So again, never force a trade. If you do end up forcing a trade, low position size, low leverage, so you don't regret it later. Okay, that's what this is all about: is living without or less regret. That's how trading is. All right. Well, that being said, I hope you learned something here today. Of course, you want to become a better trader. Again, we got our summer sale. 23, link down below for that if you want to, kind of be part of some of these trades. Again, Bake took some healthy profits there. CFX 21%. NMR would have hit its profit target, but we didn't get filled. SHIB 28%. Obviously, Reef 33%. So we've been having some really good, healthy swing trades recently, and we got a lot more to come too. So I am sending at least 1 to 2 signals per day, and I've got a couple on my radar for today. I'm really just waiting for Bitcoin to make a little bit of a move first. That's the way it goes sometimes. All right, patience is key. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks again so much for joining me here. We'll see you in tomorrow's video. Take care.